Imagine this. You step into a time machine. You travel back to the year 1920, and there he is, your grandfather, young, alive, completely unaware of who you are, and you stop him from ever having children. What happens next? Do you instantly vanish into thin air? Or do you stay alive, a walking contradiction that never should have existed? This is the grandfather paradox, and it is only the beginning. Today I'm going to show you every time paradox that scientists, philosophers, and science fiction writers have struggled with. Some of them seem almost funny. Others could break the very laws of reality. And the final one will make you question everything you think you know about time itself. The grandfather paradox. Let's stay in 1920 for a moment. Your grandfather sits in a cafe. He's drinking coffee, maybe reading the newspaper. You walk up to him, and in that instant, you make a choice. If you stop him from meeting your grandmother, your parents are never born. If your parents are never born, you are never born. But if you are never born, who is standing there in front of him right now? That's the paradox. It's a perfect circle of impossibility. It says, if time travel into the past is possible, then logic itself breaks apart. Some scientists try to escape this by suggesting reality would correct itself, that no matter what you try, you could never really change the key events that lead to your existence. Others argue the opposite. The universe would collapse under the contradiction. And then there's a third possibility, that by interfering with the past, you don't erase yourself. You simply split the timeline. A brand new universe is born. In one universe, your grandfather lives and you exist. In another, you never existed at all. But that's not the only paradox waiting for us. Because what if something could exist in time, without ever being created in the first place? The Bootstrap paradox. Imagine you travel into the past with a book in your hand. You give the book to Shakespeare. He copies it word for word, publishes it, and centuries later, you buy it. And then you take it back in time to give it to him again. The question is, who wrote the book? Nobody. This is the Bootstrap paradox, an endless loop where an object, an idea, or even a piece of music exists, but has no true origin. Let's take music. What if you traveled back and gave Beethoven one of his own symphonies? He would publish it. Centuries later you'd hear it, and then you'd bring it back to him again. The symphony exists, but it was never truly created. It's not just a thought experiment. Scientists wonder, could knowledge itself travel in a loop? Could you give yourself information from the future and become the source of it? What if the smartphone in your hand is not an invention at all, but the result of a time loop? Think about this. Maybe some of our greatest ideas didn't come from genius minds, but from information that has no origin. So here's a question for you. If you could give your younger self one piece of knowledge, what would it be? And here's the catch. Whatever you choose might end up in a loop forever. Strange enough already. But let's make it even darker, because sometimes your attempt to change the future is exactly what causes it. The predestination paradox. Imagine this. You travel back to prevent a tragedy, a fire, a war, a disaster. You do everything you can. You interfere. You push events around. But in the process, you cause the very thing you were trying to prevent. That's the predestination paradox. It means the future is fixed. It doesn't matter what you do because your actions are already part of history. Think of the Terminator. The attempt to stop the rise of machines is the very reason it happens. Or picture this. A man hears a prophecy that he will cause a terrible accident. He panics. He tries to avoid it. But in his panic, he makes a mistake, and the accident happens. This paradox is terrifying because it destroys free will. Every choice you make is already written. You can fight against the future all you want, but in the end, you only make it more certain. And that makes us wonder, Is the future something we create, or something we are simply moving toward, unable to change? But time paradoxes don't just live in philosophy. Albert Einstein himself revealed one that's real, measurable, and proven. And it shows that time doesn't move the same for everyone. The twin paradox. Picture two twins. One stays on Earth. The other travels into space, near the speed of light. When the traveling twin comes back, he is younger, not just a little. In theory, decades younger. This is not science fiction. This is Einstein's theory of relativity. The faster you move, the slower time flows for you. It's been tested with atomic clocks. One clock flown on an airplane ticks ever so slightly slower than the one left on the ground. The difference is tiny in our world, but at near light speeds, it becomes enormous. The twin paradox tells us something shocking. Time is not absolute. It's flexible. It bends, it stretches, it flows differently, depending on speed and gravity. So the question becomes, if time is already flexible, could it ever fold back on itself? But before we get to that, let's look at another paradox. One that shows just how fragile our history really is. Because sometimes, the smallest action can rewrite the world. The butterfly effect. You go back in time, you take a single step, and you crush a butterfly. It seems meaningless. But when you return to the present, everything is different. A nation you once knew no longer exists. Familiar people were never born. Your favorite food was never invented. The butterfly effect is the idea that tiny changes in the past lead to massive changes in the future. It shows just how sensitive our timeline might be. Science even supports this idea in chaos theory. Small changes in starting conditions can lead to huge differences in outcome. Think of it this way. Every tiny detail in the past shapes the present, and the present shapes the future. Change even one detail, and the chain reaction could alter everything. So here's the challenge for you. If you could change just one small thing in history, one decision, one action, what would it be? And how would our world look today? The butterfly effect is terrifying because it suggests time is unstable. That history is a fragile chain, and all it takes is one broken link to rewrite reality. So, is there a way around this? A way to allow time travel without breaking logic itself? Some scientists think there is. But their solution might be even stranger than the problem. The multiverse theory. What if every time you travel back in time, you don't actually change the past at all? Instead, you create a brand new universe. In one universe, you kill your grandfather and erase your own existence. But in another, nothing has changed. Both universes exist. Both are real. This is the multiverse theory. It solves the paradox by multiplying reality. Every decision, every action, every possibility creates another branch of the universe. Infinite worlds, infinite versions of you. In one universe, you're watching this video right now. In another, you never clicked on it. In a third, you don't even exist. It sounds impossible, but it could be the only way to explain time travel without contradiction. The price? An infinite, chaotic multiverse, where every possibility is real somewhere. But if that's true, what does it mean for us right now? Are we already just one branch of countless others? And if someone, somewhere, is traveling through time, are we living in the consequences of their choices? Finale. Time paradoxes are more than thought experiments. They are cracks in our understanding of reality. They show us how little we truly know about time itself. Maybe one day time travel will be real. But if it is, the world we live in will be far stranger than we can possibly imagine. And maybe, just maybe, it has already happened. Maybe someone has already changed our past, and we'll never know it. So here's my question for you. If you could travel back tomorrow and change just one single moment in history, What would it be? Leave your answer in the comments. And who knows, maybe your idea will become part of our own little time paradox.